Wise-ish, your power boost for the day. I'm your host, Sister Jenna, and I hope you've been enjoying a lot of the shows on America Meditating Radio. If you haven't subscribed to America Meditating on Spotify, iTunes, iHeart, or on Blog Talk Radio, could you do so now? It'll give you a chance to get all the updates, and maybe we don't have to try to keep telling you every day, but then you'll just automatically get a ping that this show is coming on and see if it's of interest for you. The shows offer insights in health, finance, well being, relationships, emotions, current events, situations, circumstances, from celebrities to your next door neighbor who might be just doing something fascinating in terms of the way they express their hearts. So hopefully you are really taking a lot of benefit from America Meditating Radio. Today I wanted to talk about a really important and a sensitive issue. It's depression. A lot of us have had moments. I don't think there's one person that haven't had a bout with depression. Whether your depression lasts for a few hours or for a day or for a week or a few months or maybe for many, many years. And I want to be able to tell you something very personal today. I was realizing while I was sorting some things out in the house, I went back to a little bit of my childhood. And now that I'm mature and I'm grown and I understand the language, back then when as a child I didn't understand it. But I'd realized that one of my parents had suffered with that illness, a depression, something that really took away her joy. And I'm not sure if maybe it was the trauma, and I'm speaking about my mother, if it was the trauma of her losing her parents in a train accident at the age of 7 and being put in orphanages and not really having love from any adults that they could trust, that definitely could create such a deep scar in the soul that it doesn't know how to process it or how to move on. So imagine when that memory gets etched into your being, you know? How do you process that? And as she's growing up and she gives birth to her child and her child is growing and watching her going through her stuff, not knowing what it is, I remembered observing her, wondering, that I wish she just seemed more happier from the inside. Sometimes her happiness was dependent on relationships or what she was wearing or what she was eating or who she was dating. And then there was another side that I used to observe, that she would sleep a lot. She would spend a lot of time in bed. And maybe I just thought that was normal. Again, I don't know, when you're young and you're growing and that's just what you saw, you just maybe think it was normal. And the irony to that, everyone, is I wasn't anything like that. I'm a person, I don't like sleep. I mean, I can go for hours, and survive well on 4 or 5 hours of sleep a night. I think I have a legacy of being a pretty optimistic and positive person. And I'm not sure if that's because of witnessing my mom being different than that. But as I've matured, I realized that sometimes people can carry that mental illness of depression for decades because there just isn't the language or the support or the insights to share with others what you're feeling. Because sometimes whenever I feel a little bit down, all I can say is I just don't feel so good. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. My life is okay. The people around me are okay. Nothing traumatic has happened to me, but it's like, I don't know. I feel foggy. I don't feel here or there. I don't feel inspired or optimistic. And whenever I've reached that place for myself, I am so clear. And I hope I stay clear from this point onwards too, that I know that if I allow that to become a pattern, it'll get worse for me. I felt that intuitively, that if I allow myself to slip further into this emotion or state of affair, state of mind, it will become a pattern for me. And I thought about my mom today and I said, it's like it became a pattern for her. And we didn't have, nor did we know how to address it because it is such a lonely disease. And you basically feel that you are on your own because nobody can understand what you're going through and you don't even know how to articulate it. You just sometimes feel like you don't have any more energy to move. And I've often reminded her that the only thing that I can recommend, because she's been to psychologists, psychiatrists, therapists, and she's brought them all to meditation. That's just Sister Gita. You know, she has this way about her that she could be dying, but she's going to serve you with her wealth of wisdom and warmth of spirit, that you just forget your profession and start to come over to her side. But anyway, the thing that I have seen or felt that could help her and everyone in the world, and it might be an oxymoron, but it was to have good wishes and pure feelings for others. Not even just for myself, but if I'm living with anyone in my home and I'm depressed, let me at least just find the strength or the resilience or the courage or the insight. Let me just from my mind bless them. From my mind give them my good wishes. I can't seem to do anything else for this family, but can I just wish them to be well and not worry about how they're looking at me or how they feel I must be. Sometimes my mother will say, I'm just so sorry I'm going through this in front of you. And then I'll say, you're not going through anything in front of me. This is your process. This is your story. I just wish I could help more. I wish you could follow some of my thoughts and suggestions. But sometimes when you're so close, you don't get the teachings as well as when it's a stranger or somebody from a distance because of the subtle attachments that are there. But I want to go back to a method that I think is really, really helpful. And that is to be a well-wisher for anyone in your home or even if you're a friend. If you're struggling with depression, practice every day. Let me bless somebody. Let me send my good wishes to someone that they are going to be okay, that they will be blessed, that they will be protected, that they will be benefited. And I don't know what it is about that method. I feel there's something so profound and healing in that process because it's a form of mental service. And depression is a mental affair. And many times you feel alone. And what if in my alone time, I can develop the habit and the internal behavior? Let me bless someone. Let me send my good wishes to someone. Let me wish them to be well and benefited. Automatically, your mind will start to feel like it's little by little healing. The second thing that I've done, if I've ever felt that I was just not in a good mood or in a good space that day or 2 days or a week, I call up people who I've longed to talk to. And I know that sometimes even that's hard to do because when you're in really deep depression, you feel motivated to do nothing positive for yourself. But I'm asking you, just pick up the phone and call one person who will just give you that time. Just, hey, how you doing? I was just thinking of you. What are you up to? And in 5-10 minutes of having a conversation with a friend or a relative or someone you haven't connected with in a long time, you'd be surprised how the energy starts to change. Third thing, and I know again, sometimes just to get that one thought to get out the bed is the hardest thing to do, find a way. Hopefully you have Alexa at home or your phone by your bed. Put on some of your favorite dance music. No love songs. Adele, I love you, but don't play any Adele. But something exciting, something, the happy song. Put on some good oldies, some good disco. The fourth thing, today I took my mother out to play basketball, and I was watching how happy she was just taking the ball and putting it in that basket. That you've got to stay a little active. And I know that could be the hardest thing to do, but it will help. It will help. There's some of us who can still function even with depression, you know. You can go to your job and you can say hi to your boss and, hey, how are you? What's going on? And then the moment that they're gone, you're back to your place inside. Or when you go home, you open the door, close it, and you just sit on the couch. You feel like nothing is important for you. Nothing is of value. It's something of the past. It is a memory. It is something so deep in terms of what the soul has felt, and the vibration of that experience hasn't been processed. Somehow the soul hasn't felt like that is a part that I had to go through, but I don't have to carry it with me my whole life or for my many other lives to come. But we do, because it was that traumatizing. And we couldn't believe that that happened to us at a soul and at a physical level. But just for the closing of today, let's just say that it did. Let's say that you've been given a script, and your character in the script is that you had to endure loss, or you had to endure trauma. But it's a script. You're an actor, you're playing your part. When the movie's over, you won't go back to that part. The best actors will not carry over the experiences of their past character in a movie. It will confuse their watchers. So what if I am in a new life? What if this is a whole new experience? Why am I still carrying the old stories with me? Meditation will really, really help you to let go of those memories of the past. So I'm hoping that some of the tips that I've given you today will help you to kind of move on, you know? So mental illness is not just all of that. It's getting angry at somebody that you love. Mental illness is also having anxiety or being jealous of a relative or a friend. Because when you're jealous of somebody and you don't want to see them grow or progress, that is also a form of mental illness, you know. So don't think that it has to get to the point of schizophrenia or bipolar disorder or depression, but it could be just when you're not having the most positive, optimistic thoughts about yourself and about somebody else. I think if you set the bar that high, you'll be a little bit more vigilant in taking care of your inner world. So I hope that today's message helped someone out there today. Please stay strong and don't succumb to those thoughts. I know they can be quite challenging. Today's blessing is, instead of chasing after the mirage of any desire, may you be innocent of even the knowledge of desire and accumulate a true spiritual inner income. Fantastic way to end the show today. Thank you so much for joining us on Wise-ish today. Don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube or on our Facebook if you haven't as yet. And feel free to share it with your friends and family if this was helpful for you. Remember, no one can take away your happiness unless you give them permission. And we really are here to love each other the same. So let's optimize and turn up the volume on loving one another a whole lot more. Take care.